Jurgen, he averaged a goal every 60 minutes.
It's just simply unbelievable what Robert Lewandowski kind of did this season. I mean, 29 games, 41 goals. Bayern Munich scored all season 99 goals, so it's pretty much every second goal is scored by Robert Lewandowski. I mean, he has amazing players around him, like Thomas Muller, for example. I think Thomas Muller did 21 assists this season. So they're feeding him the right way. But what Robert achieved is just a huge, huge milestone. It's a big piece of history in German football because Gerd Müller simply means so much to everyone in German football. He's a real legend. I mean, he built basically this club, Bayern Munich, with all of his goals that he scored in the 70s and 80s. So everybody admires really Gerd Müller. And the way that Robert Lewandowski did it throughout the entire season with so much respect, always talking about his idol, Gerd Müller, the inspiration that Gerd Müller gives him, that is outstanding. And the words that he just found right now in this interview is fantastic. So you got to give Robert really the biggest compliment in the world. Huge congratulations on this record. And hopefully he keeps going for another couple of years and challenges now his own record.
Jurgen, how's he done this? Because he seems to be getting better with age.
To do this, obviously, you need tremendous focus. You need tremendous hunger. And this is what Lewandowski is all about. He's hungry for every next moment. He never is satisfied. He scores the first goal, he goes for the second one. If he scores a second one, he wants badly the third one. So this hunger drives him week in, week out. I just wish him, personally, I wish him that he gets a huge achievement with his Polish national team as well. Maybe this is happening this summer with the Euros. This is something that you wish a player of his charisma, of his standing, you wish also the biggest success on a national team level. You know, like Ronaldo did win the European Championship. We're all waiting still for Messi winning a World Cup with Argentina. So when you watch Robert Lewandowski over the last couple of years, you really kind of feel for him and you wish him the biggest success with Poland as well, which has actually a very good team at the moment. But to break that record and to be so consistent and to be also always a team player, because he's not only, scoring all these goals with the left foot, right foot, with headers, penalties, free kicks. He's so complete in his game. No, he works a lot for the team. He comes back, he helps out. When the opposing team has a corner kick, a free kick, he's there helping out. Then he's running up front again, and he's trying so hard for everyone to do his best. So this is huge. This is a huge achievement.
Meanwhile, Gab, a lot of familiar faces to us when you take a look at Bayern Munich, of course, won't be there next season, the likes of Boateng, Alaba, or indeed Martinez as well.
Yeah, and look, inevitably one of the ways that Bayern has stayed ahead of the curve, they've also managed their departures. They've been pretty strict in terms of the wages that they pay. And, a guy like David Alaba, who's been there his entire career, his contract was winding down, and he basically said, "I'd like one last big payday, and also experience a different kind of football," which I think, as you mentioned, is why he's heading to Real Madrid. I think with Boateng it's a bit different. Again, older player, is going to cost you more money if you renew him, and that's why they made the decision for Dayot Upamecano. Javi Martinez, let's not forget, Javi Martinez was supposed to leave last summer. In the end, he stuck around simply because they were short on bodies. It's easy to forget about him because he's been injured and we haven't seen that much of him. But, he had a couple seasons where he was absolutely instrumental for Bayern, playing both in central midfield and occasionally at the back as well.
Not just the last game for those players, but also the manager, Jurgen. What an appointment Hansi Flick proved to be, and how much they might miss him.
Yeah, and this is an amazing story that Hansi Flick really wrote over the last 2 years. Coming in as an interims coach, and he has been obviously the assistant coach to Joachim Löw with the German national team. Obviously, he coached himself also as a head coach before. He built kind of the Hoffenheim, where the Hoffenheim is today. That has a lot to do with Hansi Flick. But they came at the right time. He connected with the players perfectly. His way of communication that suits everyone within the club. And off he went, and won seven titles in 2 years. This is crazy. This is amazing. So now he uses this opportunity He wants to take that opportunity to take the German national team over because Joachim Löw announced that he steps down after the Euros this summer, and it looks pretty much a deal done with the federation. So you can only wish him best of luck for his new adventure. But what he achieved in the last 2 years with Bayern is just unbelievable.
Meanwhile, Borussia Dortmund with a win today, meaning they'll finish third, Jurgen. What a season it's been for Dortmund. Of course, Erling Haaland very much grabbing the headlines. 41 goals in all competitions.
Yeah, I mean, Borussia Dortmund is a very, very interesting example for how the entire Bundesliga season really kind of went. First, they did so well. Then they decided to let the coach go. Interim's coach comes in with Edin Terzic. Then they decide suddenly to take Marco Rose at the end of the season. Basically, that gave a turmoil. Then, they went downhill. Then they caught kind of themselves, back on the right track. They finished now strongly. So it's a real roller coaster season for Borussia Dortmund. Fascinating to watch. But you got to give Edin Terzic a huge compliment, how he kind of then steadied the ship and got him in the right direction, and now finished the season on third place in the Champions League ranks, which a couple of weeks ago we all thought they might not making it in the Champions League, which would have been a huge disaster for Dortmund because of the money that is involved in the Champions League. So obviously the real story is Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland scoring, I think, 27 goals in the Bundesliga alone, and in the other competitions 14 more. Is huge. I mean, it's just for such a young player, it's a tremendous achievement, and we only kind of can hope that he continues his path like that and entertains us for many years to come.
Jan keeps telling us that he's going to stay. Gab, is that what you're hearing as well?
I mean, it's a good question. I think Erling Haaland would certainly like to stay because it's in his interest to stay for another season of development in the Bundesliga. But more importantly, a year from now, that release clause kicks in. And, the simple fact of the matter is when you have a release clause, we think it's about 70, 80 million euros. Jan thinks it's a little more. But when you have a release clause that's less than what you're worth on the open market, because most would agree that it's probably in the 120, 130, maybe more million range right now, you as a player, you have all the leverage because, you can negotiate better terms for yourself. There's more clubs that could come and get you, and your agents can negotiate better terms for themselves. So there's a weird situation right now where, from a purely financial perspective, if you're Dortmund, you would much rather sell him now, or best of all would be getting him to commit to a new deal and remove the release clause. That's not going to happen. But Erling Haaland and his dad and his agent hold all the cards here. So I certainly would expect him to stay another year.
Just a last word on Terzic. He can't go back to being an assistant, can he, Jurgen? You don't need that. You've just won the cup with Dortmund. You won 7 in a row to book a place in the Champions League. And then you have to go back to being an assistant coach. I can't imagine that anyone particularly would want that.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult now for Edin Terzic, to be honest, because obviously you proved the point. You proved that you can be a head coach, that you can kind of guide a team on the inside. You can also represent the club on the outside. And he's done a tremendous good job. Now coming in, obviously, with Marco Rose, the head coach from Borussia Mönchengladbach, who today basically, unfortunately, didn't make it, not even in European competition, not even in the newly created European Conference League. So Edin Terzic looks like he's done really amazing, and he deserves more than being just an assistant coach. I'm pretty sure over the next couple of weeks there are coming offers for Edin Terzic, and he can actually choose. Maybe it's Eintracht Frankfurt, for example, or whoever looks now for a new coach that is in a mix of these positions. And I can only guess, but I would guess today that he will find a team.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.